Pokemon, also known as pocket monsters.
And Digimon, also known as digital monsters. In the early 2000s, these franchises exploded in popularity, and if you grew up around that time, you probably remember just how big the rivalry was. While we can never settle on the biggest rivalries in fiction, we can settle this popular matchup.
Ash's Pikachu, the mascot of Pokemon.
And Ty's Agumon, the mascot of Digimon.
By the way, can we throw in a Yu-Gi-Oh monster too?
Screw Yu-Gi-Oh!
That was rude. I'm Proto Dude.
I'm Red Wolf.
And I'm Gamehawk.
And we're here to analyze both the pros and cons of these fighters.
And before we start, we should point out the obvious here. Both Agumon and Pikachu are very close to their trainers.
But since they would classify as outside help, we are doing this random encounter style in a wild field.
No trainers, no evolutions, just Pikachu and Agumon going all out in their most famous forms and fighting to the death.
When you put it that way, it sounds barbaric.
I love it already!
Once upon a time, the digital world was a peaceful home to all the Digimon.
But that all changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Meet a Pokemon, a villain born from the remnants of dead Digimon.
Wow, that's actually pretty messed up.
And awesome!
His very soul echoed with the anger and sorrow of the fallen Digimon, causing him to become depressed to the point of suicidal.
Jesus Christ, weren't we supposed to talk about a kid show here?
You're entirely made up of grief and sorrow? How sad for you.
A Pokemon desperately desired to have somebody share his suffering. With that, he waged war on the digital world.
The digital world was in chaos. Pokemon's very presence shook it to the core.
In order to combat this foe, the forces of good would need some help. Enter the Digidestined, a group of children who witnessed the mysterious workings of the digital world long before being summoned.
Each of the Digidestined received a crest and a Digimon. Man, imagine having a Digimon as a pet. Think of all the attention you could receive for being the only person on Earth who taught this pet how to speak English.
What about parrots?
Who the hell keeps a pet parrot around? Those things are creepy.
Tai Kamiya, leader of the Digidestined, ended up receiving the Crest of Courage, as well as the Digimon they called Like his partner, Agumon is very courageous and knows no fear, making him very reliable. Also, he has a huge appetite.
Except when it comes to vegetables.
In addition to his heightened senses, Agumon possesses several abilities that come in handy during combat.
Like the Mach jab combo, where he throws a flurry of punches too fast for the human eye to track.
To put this into perspective, the human eye can see in the region of 120 frames per second, which basically means that Agumon would have to deliver each punch within a time frame of 0.008 seconds. Pretty impressive for a little guy.
But Pikachu isn't even human.
Shut up.
Then, there's the Dynamite Kick, where Agumon delivers an aerial dropkick.
His most famous attack, of course, is the Pepper Breath, a move hot enough to melt solid ice almost instantly.
Hey, look, I found my clothes. Except they're even too cold for me now.
Don't worry, I can give you the latest hot look.
Hey, Agumon, that's smoking.
He has learned how to shoot 3 fireballs simultaneously, making for an effective combo. Using the Pepper Breath, Agumon has actually produced fire hot enough to vaporize a black gear.
Considering that the black gear can stay in Miromon's body without melting, that would make Agumon's fire insanely hot.
Due to the high strength to weight ratio and low cost, gears are most commonly made out of steel, which has a melting point of approximately 1400 degrees Celsius, or 2500 degrees Fahrenheit.
Damn, if Pikachu gets hit by that, he's gonna need some serious burn heal. And hey, let's not forget the baby volcano.
With the baby volcano attack, Agumon shoots a fireball that causes a huge explosion, devastating anything in its path.
Despite the fact that Agumon has the element of fire going for him, the little guy sometimes prefers to just straight up bite whoever's unfortunate enough to cross his path.
When Agumon activates the crossfire, he powers up and bites his enemies and slashes them like crazy. Kind of like a cat. After you forget to fill its food bowl for the night. Not that I would know anything about that.
Speaking of slashes, Agumon is also fond of using his razor-sharp claws, having mastered several techniques that implement them.
Using the creatively named Claw Uppercut,
Shoryuken!
Agumon uppercuts his enemies with his claws, and that felt redundant to say.
However, his most powerful claw technique is the also creatively named Sharp Claws.
This attack can be charged to multiple levels like a Mega Buster, and when it's fully charged, the effect is crippling to an enemy's health.
Agumon is obviously more comfortable with his partner by his side, but he still has been known to hold his own and strategize without Tai guiding him.
Agumon has some impressive feats indeed. As soon as he digivolved from his Koromon form, he proceeded to take some hits from and then defeat a Kuwagamon, keeping in mind that Kuwagamons are capable of slicing apart airplanes.
He also put up a pretty impressive fight against Shelmon, not to mention that even in his rookie form, he was powerful enough to hurt Meramon.
Considering that Meramon had enough power to vaporize an entire lake in seconds, that's definitely nothing to sneeze at. Believe it or not, Agumon is a very capable fighter, even in his much weaker Koromon form.
He displayed enough agility to leap from building to building at intense speeds, all while fighting the champion-level Ogremon.
And once he had a chance to digivolve, he beat the ogre with a single well-placed Pepper Breath, like a boss.
Ogremon is love. Ogremon is life.
If you bring that up again, I swear to God you are fired.
Do not worry, it is already Ogre.
It's not ogre. It's never ogre.
Anyways, in an alternate timeline, he single-handedly defeated the most powerful Dark Lord of all time, Piedmon.
Yeah, the same Piedmon who was capable of cracking War Greymon's armor.
Additionally, Agumon is capable of dodging supersonic blasts from Chimeramon, meaning that he has some pretty quick reflexes.
After saving the world several times, Agumon went on to retire from fighting, and became a diplomat for the United Nations alongside his partner, Tai.
Aww.
Too bad he never took any of those singing lessons. Make it stop! Make it stop!
Yeah, while that may not be the most exploitable shortcoming combat-wise, Agumon definitely has a few drawbacks to deal with.
One thing Agumon lacks is a bit of experience in his rookie form, mainly because he kept evolving in his different forms for each fight throughout the series, leaving him more vulnerable in his iconic form.
And since Agumon needs Tai's help to digivolve, he's not getting a chance to become Greymon here.
Plus, the little guy needs to be fully fed in the first place in order to digivolve. So even with Tai at his side, it's not a guarantee.
Still, Agumon is the face of Digimon for a reason. With the help of his friends, he saved not one, but 2 worlds from threats such as Devamon, the Dark Lords, and Apoclamon.
That's right. It's best not to underestimate this guy. After all, his heart beats intense like his flames.
You win.
Pop quiz!
What do you get when you combine child neglect, animal abuse, and underage gambling?
The answer is the wonderful world of Pokemon, of course.
Ash Ketchum of Pallet Town was one of the many 10-year-olds who eagerly set out to become a master Pokemon trainer, and when the day came for him to get his first Pokemon, he proved he could be responsible by oversleeping and missing his chance to get his first Pokemon.
Yep, this guy was clearly ready to leave his mom's house and travel the world on his own.
After being left in the dust by his rival Gary Oak, Ash had only one choice. If he wished to get started on his journey, he would have to accept Pikachu as his starter Pokemon.
And, well, let's just say there was a reason why Professor Oak hid the overgrown mouse.
Oh, it's so cute. It's the best of all.
You'll see.
Oh, hi, Pikachu. Pika.
It's also known as electric mouse. It's usually shy, but can sometimes have an electrifying personality.
I see what you mean.
Pikachu absolutely hated Ash's guts, refusing to even touch his Pokeballs or stop laughing. As I was saying, at first, Pikachu couldn't stand Ash, but that quickly changed when Ash proved he was prepared to sacrifice his life for the electric rat. Sensing that the trainer was in danger, Pikachu leapt into action and...
That's what they get for messing with the king of Pokepimps.
Over the long journey between him and Ash, Pikachu has learned several neat tricks.
And he's also learned how to look pretty.
The Thunder Shock, for example, is an electric attack that has a 10% chance of paralyzing a foe. The Thunderbolt is an upgraded version of that, which also has a 10% chance of paralyzing the foe. Thunder is an upgraded version of that, which has a 10% chance of paralyzing a foe.
Noticing a pattern here?
When performing the Quick Attack, Pikachu moves so fast, he becomes invisible to the human eye.
Good thing we already explained how fast that is during Agumon's analysis.
Indeed. In order to move so fast it appears you are teleporting, it is generally accepted that you have to be moving at least 200 miles per hour in short bursts. That's faster than a speeding car, but not faster than a speeding bullet.
Using the agility move, Pikachu can boost his already impressive speed up to 3 times.
Pikachu can also use the Leer ability to glare at an opponent to the point that their defense is lowered. Somehow.
No matter what you do, don't get into a staring contest with this guy. Trust us, it's for the best.
Despite having the body of a newborn child, Pikachu has been shown to have very impressive strength, utilizing it in special moves such as the Volt Tackle. Fun fact, Pikachu totally stole this move from Postman. But then again, Postman stole it from Tekkaman, so whatever.
While the Volt Tackle has a 10% chance of paralyzing his enemy,
Wow, I'm shocked.
1/3 of the damage that Pikachu inflicts is reflected right back at him.
Ouch. Looks like he can't spam that. He can, however, use the Iron Tail to his heart's desire, which hits his enemy so hard, it lowers their durability.
Then there's the Electro Ball, which deals more damage the slower the target is. And finally, there's the Static ability, where Pikachu engulfs his body in electricity. If his enemy is reckless enough to hit him with a physical attack, their chances of being paralyzed are as high as...
Let me guess. 10%.
Nope.
20%?
Still no. It's a whopping 30%.
Huh. Go figure. That aside, Pikachu also has some amazing destructive power, having destroyed numerous buildings over his long career. He also has a pretty impressive track record, considering that he has either defeated or stood up to
An Electrifying,
a Rhydon,
A Magmar,
a Regice,
a Dragonite,
a robot several times his size.
a Superior,
and the strongest Pokemon of all time, a Slugma!
It is worth noting that Slugmas are made of magma, which ranges from 700 to 1300 degrees Celsius, and Pikachu can touch them physically without suffering from burns.
Pikachu is capable of dodging supersonic Psybeams at close range, meaning that his reflexes comfortably surpass the speed of sound. Oh yeah, and he can take some hits from the building-wrecking Tentacool.
Not to mention that if he gets enough lightning stored in his cheeks, he can hit with the force of a natural lightning bolt.
By comparison, the average lightning bolt reaches 1 billion volts, with up to 300,000 amperes.
I sure feel sorry for whatever water type or flying type gets hit by that. It's just too bad that it can overcharge poor Pikachu like a battery and kill him.
Pikachu isn't perfect. That's why he relies on Ash so much. This, of course, limits his experience when it comes to solo combat.
Also, Pikachu is technically a glass cannon. While his durability is much higher than the average electric rat, that isn't really saying much.
Indeed, since Pikachu usually relies on speed blitzing to help him quickly win a fight, he runs into trouble when he faces Pokemon that are resistant to his attacks, including grass types, ground types, other electric types, and dragon types.
He also refuses to evolve into the far superior Raichu. But hey, Pikachu is still the very best, like no one ever was.
The winner is Pikachu.
Well, it looks like this is going down in the digital world.
Well, at least now Pikachu can't win just by unplugging his computer.
Ha ha ha, shut up.
I prove this song to you. A tune from now until June. When you hear us sing, you'll call us singing buffoons. We just want to wake ya.
Pika!
Vicious fatality.
It looks like Pikachu won't be needing that burn heal after all.
This was easily the closest fight in the history of the show, which made it difficult to call. But in the end, we had to decide with the electric rat.
Agumon was indeed the smarter of the two. However,
Pikachu has proven several times that he does not need Ash to walk him through every single step of the battle.
Pikachu is also more of a speedster, which helped him outmaneuver Agumon and get some powerful hits in. Sooner or later, Pikachu's paralysis effects had to kick in, and when that happened, Agumon was in for some serious heat.
There was one key thing that he had working against him: his lack of experience in his rookie form.
Indeed, since evolutions and trainers were banned, Agumon was stuck as an adorable little reptile, and the more Digimon progressed, the less Agumon fought in that form, preferring to rely on his evolved forms.
Pikachu, on the other hand, has 20 bajillion seasons worth of experience fighting in his equivalent form.
Furthermore, while Agumon's fire was still problematic, Pikachu has made contact with a Slugma before, who, as we mentioned earlier, is made of pure magma, without any serious harm to him. Agumon, on the other hand, doesn't have any notable feats of dealing with lightning. Another thing worth mentioning is whether or not Agumon would classify as a dragon type. Technically, if Agumon classified as a dragon by Pokemon standards, he would receive only half the intended damage from Pikachu's attacks.
While some of his Digivolved forms might classify as dragon types, his main form was closer to just a fire type.
However, Pikachu has still defeated powerful Pokemon that could resist his electricity before, including grass and dragon types. So it is most likely that he would still have a very good chance of winning.
Both of these little guys are known for taking on monsters far out of their league, but in the end, Pikachu managed to take this after the toughest fight of his life.
Victory goes to Pikachu.